Few days late, unfortunately, but here is my official predictions video for the 2021-22 NBA season. And the reason we're recording this on the Raptors background is because the Raptors are my prediction for title winners. Not really. But nonetheless, they are my favorite team. They're here. But they are most certainly not winning the title this season. That being said, I'm going to give my rundown of the standings for the upcoming season, some award predictions, and who I think will eventually win the NBA title. That being said, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think for certain standings and award predictions. That being said, let's get right into it. We will start with the play-in teams in the Western Conference. In no particular order, I have the Pelicans, Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, OKC, and Sacramento Kings. But you will see on screen that I have OKC 15, Spurs 14, Houston 13, Pelicans 12, and Sacramento 11. The Pelicans are probably the most debatable and arguable one out of this group. Probably the most surprising, at least for some people. I know the Pelicans are a relatively popular play-in pick this year, but I don't see it within this group, specifically with Zion starting the year injured, out of shape, and it remains unsure when he will be on the court and how effective or in shape he will be when he returns. And we know that that New Orleans are fairly conservative with bringing Zion back from injuries, and that is the biggest hesitancy I have with this group. I think this is a better group than they had last year. I think it's a better fit, a new coach. Expecting Nickeil Alexander-Walker to be very good. I think JV is a much better fit, but ultimately I think having Zion out and the concerns I have about his health worries me. Ultimately, that's why I have him out. OKC, Spurs, Houston, all are rebuilding teams, and Sacramento, I don't think have the wing depth or the defense to get into the playoffs yet. In the play-in games for the Western Conference, I have Minnesota at 10, Memphis in the 9 seed, Golden State in the 8 seed, and Portland in the 7 seed. I could be very off on Golden State. Of course, they played very well on the first night of the season, as we have all seen now. Ultimately, I'm not super high on this group in the regular season. I could be very wrong on that, though, and I would love to be proven wrong by this group. I think Minnesota have enough offensive pieces that if they stay healthy this year, they can be a play-in team. I still have big concerns about their defense, and I'm not sure how much Patrick Beverley can encourage this team to actually play good defense. But for the first time in a while, this is a Timberwolves team that has a chance to make the playoffs, and maybe that'll make players like Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell give more effort on the defensive end. I think Memphis continue to be a very deep, hardworking, good defensive team, and will get themselves into the playing games. Golden State, of course, led by Curry, Poole, Draymond, and Clay when he returns, are going to be a very good group. And Portland still have Dame and CJ, and as much as I don't love that group in the playoffs, it's definitely good enough to get them into the postseason. Moving on to the playoff locks. Top 6 seeds in the Western Conference, I have the LA Clippers, barely getting in above Portland with Kawhi Leonard missing most of the season, the Dallas Mavericks, Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and the Utah Jazz finishing off at the top. You can debate those 3 top seeds all you want. I think those are going to be your top 3 in what order remains to be seen. Denver I have coming in at the 4 seed. If Jamal Murray was healthy, I'd maybe have them higher, and I wouldn't completely count them out from being a bit higher, but ultimately that's where I have them. And Dallas will continue to be good in the regular season thanks to Luka, but ultimately unless Kristaps Porzingis plays a lot more like an all-star this year, I don't love the surrounding pieces enough to consider them a contender. And the Clippers are going to have to rely on a Paul George MVP caliber season, while Kawhi Leonard is out for the majority of the year. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, the play-in misses for me are going to be the Orlando Magic, Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, and Washington Wizards. And then the one debatable one, because you have to have one debatable one in the East because there's 11 really good teams, in my opinion, is the Indiana Pacers for me in the 11th spot. The Magic, Cavs, Pistons, I think are all just rebuilding and don't have enough talent to get there yet, but definitely all have some upside, specifically the Cavs and the Pistons. The Magic, I think, are still a couple years away, but definitely have some promising young pieces. The Wizards are good, but I just don't think they're good enough compared to their Pacers, Raptors, Hornets above them. I like Beal. If Dinwiddie can play like he did before his injury, then I really like what they have there. Maybe Kuzma can take a step forward. Can Gafford have another step forward? There's definitely some nice pieces there, but ultimately I don't think they have enough, specifically good enough defense to be able to bring them through into the playing games. Pacers, you can argue whether you want to swap them out with the Raptors or the Hornets. For me, it's so hard to choose. I just don't know. Honestly, it's just a coin flip. I have no argument for why I have them out compared to the Raptors or the Hornets. I'm not caring that much. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. Have a discussion with me down in the comment section below. Make your case, Hornets, Raptors, Pacers fans. Let me know, because you can put all 3 of those in 11. And I can't really make an argument against you, because it's going to be a very tight race for those playing games in the East. Talking about the playing games, the play-in teams in the Eastern Conference for me are the Raptors, Hornets, Knicks, and the Bulls. And yes, I know the Bulls is a weird pick, but there are 7 really good teams in the Eastern Conference, and that just means that one of them has to be in the playing game. Patrick Williams missing a bit of time at the start of the year. Chemistry having to be a thing that they're going to have to figure out in Chicago with all of their new pieces, and their defense going to be a concern, at least in my opinion. That is why I have them in the 7th seed. I think they're better than the 7th best team in the conference, but ultimately I think in the regular season they will end up in 7th. The Knicks have a much improved team, much better scoring and backcourt and perimeter play, but ultimately I do think their defense is going to take a bit of a step back. I think teams are going to shoot the 3 a lot better against them this year. I think that'll slide them a couple of spots down in the conference. I really like what Charlotte have. They still have LaMelo Ball another year forward, another year of Terry Rozier. Gordon Hayward back healthy. Hopefully he can play more than 40 or 50 games this year, but ultimately that seems unlikely knowing him. And nonetheless, they have good depth, Kelly Oubre and Miles Bridges, but still have poor center play. And the Raptors have a lot of interesting pieces. They're going to have a very long athletic team and very good defensively. It just depends where their offense can come from. Looking at the top 6, I have the 76ers in the 6th seed, and it's very unknown what that team is going to look like towards the end of the season. I have the Boston Celtics at 5, Atlanta at 4, Miami 3, Milwaukee 2, and Brooklyn at the 1 seed. Milwaukee and the Nets are the 2 title contenders for me that are legit title contenders out of this group. Miami have improved and taken a step forward this year, adding PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry. The Atlanta Hawks are good, young, have kept everyone, added DeLon Wright, and look to be a very good team again this upcoming season. I think Boston are an even better team now, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown leading the way, but surrounding themselves with Dennis Schroeder, Josh Richardson. Al Horford being back is going to give them very good interior defense with Al Horford and Robert Williams having an absolutely brilliant center rotation. I think it's going to be a much better bench, better depth, and better offensive group around Jalen and Jason. And then the 76ers have Joel Embiid, which is going to keep them competitive, but ultimately what they get for Ben Simmons when he's traded, if he's available, is all up in the air. It makes it hard to really predict what the 76ers are going to do this upcoming season. Before I predict my finals matchup and championship winners for this upcoming NBA season, I should name a few award predictions I have. I have Giannis Antetokounmpo as the MVP with the new look free throw routine and a new shot form that looks more clean, looks more comfortable, looks faster. I think he's going to be even more dominant this year after the motivation of winning the title. I have Nickeil Alexander-Walker as my most improved player, someone who was very good with the Pelicans last year when starting and playing significant minutes, and now in a full-time starting role, I expect to be a very important piece for the Pelicans, specifically while Zion is out injured. Defensive Player of the Year, I also have Giannis Antetokounmpo. That doesn't really need much explaining. He's already won one before, and I have no doubt he can win another one again. And I have Tyler Hero as my 6th Man of the Year. Not one of the most popular picks, but definitely someone who could take a step forward this year and provide very important scoring for a Miami bench that doesn't really have any guard depth outside of him until Oladipo comes back from injury. My finals matchup I have as a repeat the Phoenix Suns against the Milwaukee Bucks, and I do have the Milwaukee Bucks winning it. As of right now, I don't believe in the Lakers staying healthy or in enough of the fit with Russ alongside LeBron and AD, or the impact of Russ to feel like it matters that they have a 3rd star on the team. As much as I think they can improve a lot from what we saw in Game 1 of the season, I don't know if Russ is ever going to truly have the impact of Russ on this team. And I also have concerns about the health of LeBron and AD, because LeBron and AD have not been healthy for much of the last 3 years. For the Bucks, I mean, the Bucks are just the Bucks. They're going to do the thing. They're dominant. There's a reason they won this chip last year. Giannis Antetokounmpo is arguably the best player in the league, and I think he's going to be only better this upcoming season. I really like what Phoenix have, and one of the best backcourts in the league. DeAndre continues to do his thing. I think Mikal Bridges continue to improve on the offensive end, and now they have a legitimate backup center in JaVale McGee, which just makes them even better. A better matchup against the Lakers, better matchup against any team that has any amount of a big. I think they're much better suited for the playoffs this upcoming season. Landry Shamet comes in to give them more bench scoring. Cameron Payne is back. I think the Phoenix Suns are in a very good spot to get back to the playoffs, but ultimately I think the Bucks will be this year's 2022 NBA Finals champions. That being said, be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. some of your award predictions, some of your standing predictions, specifically who does and doesn't get into those playing games. When you're talking about Indiana, Pelicans not getting in, be sure to let me know what you guys think about that down below. And let me know who you guys have for the NBA title champions in 2022. That being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.